name is Kurt Lane, and I am a business analyst in IT for Reily Foods. Yeah, Reily Foods is a food and beverage company. Most notable brands would be Louisiana Tea and Blue Plate Mayonnaise, which is a Southern mayonnaise brand. Moving to the cloud is, a little different. You don't have the same access to the database and the underlying code, but honestly, the biggest change and the upgrade cycle with Dynamics 365 is ever changing, right? And so they're rolling out multiple updates per year, whereas the old way of upgrading was you would be on a particular release for a number of years, and it was kind of a big deal to do an upgrade, and you could size it up, plan for it, get through the upgrade, and then you were pretty safe for a good long while. But with D365, at least 2 upgrades per year, it put a whole nother set of requirements on managing the day-to-day and being prepared for that and the time that it takes to upgrade. So our testing has been all manual, so we had a team of users from each site and an implementation partner that assisted with that testing. But yeah, we've basically, folks sitting at a keyboard and simulating work was the only option that we had when we went live in 2018. Our update testing was required travel because we're in 3 different cities. We brought people together to do on-site testing, and that would be 3 representatives from our facilities, and 1 IT person was also there as a resource. And then we basically handled the testing with just that small group of people for the first, year or so of our upgrades. For 3 people, 2 full days of testing devoted to testing is what we typically plan for, with 2 weeks of time set aside for any fallout or issues that came from the testing to be resolved. When I joined IT in 2020, a couple of years after our implementation would go live, the testing was something that was under my purview, so attempted to use RSAT and didn't have a good experience there. So, manual testing was the way forward. And as we looked at the greater implementation coming, knowing that it was taking so much time just to maintain 1 module, and that the full company requirement was going to need even more time and resources that we just couldn't afford on a company scale, we looked into automation. And there are other tools that do automation, but the standard across all of them was that somebody had to own it, and there was just not a QA team, so to speak, of inside of our, IT department. So when we evaluated the different, we looked at LeapWork. There was another one that I don't remember the name of that a colleague at another company was using, but they all had large, teams devoted to the process of doing regression testing. So when we saw TestSmart, the thing that stuck out to us was just that there was maintenance and support from within the TestSmart side to the testing that we wouldn't have to devote resources to. And so that really is what solidified our choice, was that we basically could pull another QA team in from an external resource and not have to provide that resource from within our own company. And the team has always been very responsive and helpful to all of my requests. They either show me how it works, or they take it and make it work for me, to the extent that I make the request, and we can just hop on a Teams call. I can just shoot them a Teams message, or we can go through email. So there's really just seems like, a very simple path to get what I need, and the tools available are right here, just like I'm chatting with somebody within my own company. Again, the biggest through line that I see is that automated testing is going to be its own system to maintain. So if you're going to manage automated testing as part of your regression cycle, you will need to ensure upkeep of those tests for them to remain reliable. So part of the cycle of testing will be spent on the tests themselves, just to prove that they are working the way they should and that they're not breaking for reasons other than an actual system limitation. The tests can fail for all kinds of different reasons, so it's not just a one and done, set it up and forget about it. You will need to maintain those. So creating the test scripts, organizing their execution, and running them is its own work cycle amongst the, of what you're already doing. So you won't spend time doing the manual testing, but you will spend time keeping them up. And so if you don't have devoted resources for that, then that might be a reason to consider, having someone to come alongside and help you. So that's where the TestSmart seems to fit the bill for us. Not to say we're to make light of anything, but we essentially can rent a QA department when we need it, and then we don't have to maintain full-time resources for testing purposes.